Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the NHL DFS slate for Wednesday, March 15th. We got ourselves just a 4-game slate here tonight, where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays, and then we'll wrap up today's video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 2 of these games are coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals. The other 2 games coming in at 6 goals even. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see the Islanders, Wild, Maple Leafs, and Capitals are all favored to win tonight. And then here's a midweek schedule update. Again, a video here today, tomorrow, and Friday breaking down each one of those NHL DFS slates. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Buffalo Sabres. We got Thompson centering Skinner and Tuck. Now, believe it or not, I believe that this first line here could go a little overlooked, being that it is just a 4-game slate. Look, they're still going to carry some ownership, being that there are just 4 games, but a lot of the focus right now seems to be on this Avalanche and Maple Leafs game. I think the ownership between these other 3 games should be pretty evenly spread out. I love the upside that these 3 offer here, playing together all year long, showing some really strong chemistry. Playing the Washington Capitals here tonight, who are playing on back-to-back nights after losing 5-3 to the Rangers last night. And for whatever reason, this first line here has played very well against this Capitals team this year. In 2 games, these 3 have combined for 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. And technically, Alex Tuck only played in 1 of those games. So I like going back to him here, and it's a strongly correlated line stack with all 3 of these guys playing up on the number 1 power play. And then a cheaper line stack that I like here tonight is that second line for the New York Islanders. We got Nelson centering Parise and Palmieri. Now I have no problem with that first line either. If you want to stack up Horvat with Lee and Bailey, that's 100% okay with me. You can even do a little 3-man stack with Horvat, Lee, and Dobson, being that those 3 play up on the number 1 power play. I tend to go with this second line here, though, because they are cheaper and they should come in at lower ownership. And look, I know they haven't put up massive numbers as of late, but this is a great spot for them to do so against the Anaheim Ducks, a team that we've picked on all year long. They've allowed a league-high 4 goals per game, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 73% rate. That is the second worst in the NHL. And that Anaheim Ducks team is not afraid to take penalties, having taken the 5th most minor penalties in the NHL. Now you're going to see Nelson and Palmieri play up on the number 1 power play. Parise plays down on the second. So it's very similarly structured to that first line, with Horvat and Lee playing on the number 1 power play and Bailey playing down on the second. Again, we're just getting this second line at a cheaper price tag. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget, I am running that Discord channel too. Great group of people in there talking hockey and prize picks. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. And actually, the first 2 guys that I want to highlight here are on the Maple Leaf side of things, Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Look, we could go with that second line of Tavares and Nylander. I have no problem with that. I even don't mind the Avalanche side of things. Like I said, this game in general is definitely going to be the most popular of the 4 on this slate here tonight. I find myself going to Matthews and Marner because these 2 are playing very well right now. If we take a look at their last 7 games here, you can see Matthews has put up 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points, averaging 5 shots on net per game. Marner's averaging 2 points per game with 4 goals, 10 assists. Both those guys playing up on the first line in number 1 power play. So I do prefer to go with these 2 over that second line of Tavares and Nylander, and that's not always the case because Tavares and Nylander are technically cheaper to stack up. They both play up on the number 1 power play as well, and obviously have great upside, but again, really hard to ignore the way that Matthews and Marner are playing together right now. I think I'm Matt Boldy there of the Minnesota Wild, and I'm not in love with this game between the Wild and Blues here tonight. I think it could be low scoring. 2 completely different teams. The Blues have been scoring goals as of late, but they've been a horrible defensive team all year long. Goaltending is not that great, whereas for the Minnesota Wild, they don't score a lot of goals, but they don't allow a lot either, and their goalies have been playing very well as of late. I do, however, like the price here for Matt Boldy at $5,600. Clearly shown he's capable of having a multiple point or multiple goal game, someone who can get you 20, 25, even 30 plus DraftKings points. Technically playing down on the second line right now and playing up on the number 1 power play. He does have 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points here in his last 5 games. But again, really just like that price tag considering his opportunity. And again, the Blues have not been a great defensive team this year, allowing 3.65 goals per game, the 5th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 77% rate. So they certainly can still give up a lot of goals here tonight. Like I said, in general, I just foresee it being more low scoring. Next is JT Compher of the Colorado Avalanche. Now, I am curious to see what the Avalanche lines will look like here tonight, being that Lehkonen got hurt last game against the Montreal Canadiens. He was playing on that second line with Compher and Nichushkin. If he was there again, I'd stack up that line in this matchup against Toronto, but I'm not entirely sure who that left wing will be on that second line tonight. But I continue to like this price tag here for Compher at $5,100, considering he does play up on the number 1 power play as well. 43 points this year in 65 games, definitely having a career year. Hasn't put up a bunch of points here as of late, but if we just go back about 10 games, he had a really nice stretch of games, showing some really nice upside. Towards the end of February, early March, he had a stretch of games where he hit 43.9, 20.6, 12.1, and 18.4 DraftKings points. Again, showing some really nice upside considering the price. And then I got TJ Oshie there of the Washington Capitals. Really nice price tag of $4,500 considering how he's played here as of late. Technically plays down on the third line, but plays up on the number 1 power play and logs his normal 17-18 minutes per game. I like the Buffalo Sabres here tonight, but I also kind of like the Washington Capitals. Sabres have not been a good defensive team this year, allowing 3.61 goals per game. That is the 7th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 73% rate, tied for the 2nd worst. So I don't mind stacking up that number 1 power play tonight for the Capitals, especially if Ovechkin is back here. But Oshie, again, has been really good here as of late. You can see he's racked up 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points here in his past 10 games. Not bad at all for a guy priced at $4,500. Now, moving over here to the defenseman, first guy I got there is Cale Makar. Now, I'm not overly enthused to stack up the Avalanche power play here tonight because the Maple Leafs have been solid on the penalty kill this year. However, if you're playing Cale Makar and the Avalanche in general, it kind of makes sense to stack him up with a Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen on that first line, or even go to the second line, which is cheaper with JT Compher and Valeri Nichushkin. But if you played Cale Makar by himself, I don't think that's a bad play at all. Certainly shown that he's capable of meeting 3, 4, even 5x value at this price tag here. He's the best defenseman in the NHL, in my opinion. But with these other 3 guys here, I'm primarily stacking them up with forwards on the same power play. Noah Dobson and the New York Islanders. Could do a little mini stack with him, Brock Nelson, and Kyle Palmieri. Or again with that first line in Horvat and Anders Lee. Again, a great matchup here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, who have taken the 5th most minor penalties in the NHL this year and have the 2nd worst penalty kill, hitting at a 73% rate. John Klingberg, nice price tag there, $4,300. He's got some nice offensive upside. Again, a good matchup here against the St. Louis Blues. Could do a little mini stack with him and Matt Boldy. And then Rasmus Sandin there, a little mini stack with TJ Oshie. Anyone on that number 1 power play for the Capitals tonight? Because again, the Buffalo Sabres, not very good on the penalty kill. And then I just got 1 goaltender on the spreadsheet here for tonight, but being that there are just 4 games, 8 goalies to choose from, there's a case to be made to roster any one of these guys. Even John Gibson. I know the Islanders are favored at -190 on the money line, but Gibby has shown some really nice upside here over the past month. $7,100. I don't mind going there, especially in tournaments. But Fleury was my favorite overall play. He's been really good here in his past 5 starts, going 5-0-0 in those starts, with a goals allowed average of 1.38 and a save percentage of .957. Plus, the Wild have been the best defensive team in the NHL since the All-Star break, allowing just 2 goals per game over their last 19 games. And as always, going to wrap up this spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Jacob Vrana of the St. Louis Blues, playing on the second line right now and up on the number 1 power play for them. Has played well in St. Louis, albeit just 4 games. He's got 2 goals already with 14 shots on net, hitting double-digit DraftKings in 3 of those 4 games. Next is Dylan Strome of the Washington Capitals, playing down on the third line right now in number 2 power play, but he's got 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points here in his past 10 games, averaging close to 10.5 DraftKings points per game. Not bad at all for a guy priced here at $3,800, and it makes for a nice little mini stack if you wanted to, with him and TJ Oshie. And then Marcus Johansson of the Minnesota Wild playing on the second line right now in number 2 power play. He's got 14 goals, 17 assists, 31 points in 66 games this year. Essentially a half point per game type of player, but someone who does have 15 plus DraftKings point upside or could meet 5x value at this price. And then to wrap up the video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. I know they're still missing the goalie props, but I go through the picks every morning. Man, things are looking very grim here on this 4-game slate. Maybe we'll get some lines to change, but as of this morning, things are looking a little bleak. However, I'll wait for all the picks to come out, do my research, and like I always do, let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video. I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. And don't forget, I am posting those picks in my Discord channel too, and if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Now, I probably didn't make the most convincing case to start playing prize picks here tonight on the NHL side of things, but the nice thing is we got a number of different sports to choose from. That's the beautiful thing about prize picks, is you can mix and match any one of those sports together. If you haven't signed up and you want to do so, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and Prize Picks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now again, you don't have to put $100 in. If you want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they'll match that $20, and again, we'll match anything up to $100 as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF upon signing up. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 4-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.